talk about things not going like you want them to go. So I've been working on this helmet. You may have seen that I made a couple of videos about making the head sculpt, a life cast of me so that I could make some patterns for helmets. And that went really well. I got the head cast ready to use, and so for the past couple days I've been working on trying to make some templates based on videos by Bill Duran and Evil Ted Smith, and following their instructions to make patterns of my head so that I can make these helmets that I want to make. Specifically, the Batman armor helmet from Batman vs. Superman. It's just a really cool helmet. I thought it's kind of basic shaped, it'd be a good entry way into doing this. So I started making these patterns and spent one afternoon making a helmet out of foam. This one's been chopped up a lot, and it looks bad. I'm going to show it to you, but it looks bad. So this is, I ended up cutting the face out of it because I'm going to give this to my kids to play with. But I made the pattern, in 4 pieces, and actually 5 pieces with a dome on the back, and was trying to figure out the shapes, right? So I did this one. As soon as I got it glued together, I was like, oh, that's not right. No big deal. It's a first try. Fine. So I basically just set it aside and started over. So then the other day, even though I have a bunch of other stuff to do, this video is not for a month or so. I have a bunch of other stuff to do, but I was like, I'm really motivated to get this thing right. So I started over, and I spent an entire day, and I actually made some pretty good progress, but it's just not right. And let's see if I can get the lighting here. And that's this one. You can kind of see the shape in there, like it has but what I finally figured out was that it just doesn't have the right shape to it. And so then I started looking into well, why doesn't it have the right shape? What is it about this shape that's not right? And I realized that I was making a pattern of my head and then cutting pieces to match the shape of my head. But that's not really the shape of the helmet. And I'd never really thought about that before, that when you're making a prop, a costume or a helmet, because I've never really done it, that if it's not the shape, like contour fitting of your head or of your body, then you have to adjust for that when you're making the pattern, not when you're making the final piece. So I called Bill Duran last night and I asked him a bunch of questions about it. He gave me tons of good insight. So what I'm probably going to do is start over again and end up with hopefully something better than this. But that means I lost 2 whole days to this project so far. I'm learning a lot, so that's good. But I've thrown away all the footage from the first helmet because it was worthless. I have a bunch of footage from this one, and I'm trying to decide now if I want to throw that away and completely start over, or figure out a way to work in this second version and whatever becomes the next version into the same video. So anyway, I wanted to give you a little insight into that project, and as it progresses forward, I'll add more to this video and we'll see how it turns out. It is kind of frustrating though, but we'll see how it goes. This is my head sculpt that I'm using, which is actually working out really well, but you can see like the paint where I've painted it, and then I've used an X-Acto knife to cut off the template. It's left lines, which doesn't matter at all, but it's just kind of creepy looking. Then I have like this kind of horror movie line cut into my face and all over these places. And I've gone through tons of foam, so every time I do one of these projects, I end up with all these little extra foam pieces laying all over the place, and this foam dust everywhere, which is like super fine and lightweight and just stays everywhere. So it's frustrating because I have to redo this, but also because I can't leave this out. I have to clean all this stuff up before I can start working on another project. So I was hoping I could just work on this till it was done, but it causes such a mess that I now have to stop what I'm doing, clean all this up, and move everything out of the way before I can start on something else, because I'm not able to finish this one in the time that I wanted. So, got the kids to bed, and I decided to come back down here and try out the 3rd version of the Batman helmet. And I built up the thing. You'll see it in the video, but here's what it looks like. So I built up the head cast to get like some of the extra shape that I wanted here, and to build out the nose because it needs to stick out from the nose a little bit. So that took a while. ran out of green tape, which doesn't matter, but I don't know if this is gonna work or not. I honestly don't know if this is gonna work or not, but that's what I'm working with now. So now I've got some new side panels which go pretty much vertical like they're supposed to. This is the new center panel, which is going to get seamed to have that little like dart down the middle. I don't know if the eyes are right. I really don't know, but I'm giving it a shot. Okay, so it's the next day. I last night tried a whole new set of templates, made a whole new thing, and it just didn't work. I'm not even going to show you the whole thing. It just didn't work. And I got really discouraged because that was my third helmet that was just wrong. So this morning I came in, I started from scratch a fourth time, made all new templates, really took my time to draw out the individual shapes and try to, I did something different as far as building the templates. And it is now like lunchtime, so I've got like 4 hours into this, and I'm really happy with this one. I mean, it's not perfect, but that looks like the Batman helmet, kind of, right? I mean, it's like generally there. It's getting there, anyway. I'm pretty happy with it, and I can actually put it on my head, whereas the other ones were actually too small. So this one, I made some changes to it to be able to put it on. It looks funny because I have a beard, so I don't really look like Batman, but yeah, whatever. So, I still have a lot of work to do on this, but apparently fourth time is the charm. I'm back on a different day. I don't even remember the last time I shot something for this behind the scenes video, so I'm just gonna kind of pick up where things are at the moment. Today is Thursday, which is the day that I release videos. And so this morning so far has been releasing video, answering comments, all that stuff. My editor is here today and he's working on video. He's working on the easel video, which I don't even know if that'll be out yet when you see this. But so he is editing that, and then he's gonna start editing the Batman helmet, which is what this one's mostly been about. It's now pretty far along. I'm pretty happy with how it's going, and it's got 2 coats of latex, kind of like a silver tinted latex on it. I'm pretty happy with it. We got some of the weathering in. You know, made some slices in it and stuff. So I guess it's not really weathering, but damage, battle damage. And so it's pretty good. It's wet right now, so I'm waiting for it to dry. And then I'm gonna start on another project. So I've got like 2 videos. I've got 3 videos in edit and 2 videos in progress right now, I think. And so this is one of them. And this is one of them, which isn't a whole lot to look at, but I'm making a custom horn for my car. So a bullhorn that will be mounted in the hood somewhere, a small amp, mono amp, with a sound effects board to generate some sounds, and that'll be connected to a little 3D printed button housing that'll be mounted somewhere. So this is what I'm going to do today and try to get this installed and shot. And just wanted to give you an idea of like, this is what my shop looks like when I'm in the middle of working and I'm not shooting stuff. When I set up a shot, I try to clear out things so that there's not just like stuff in the way and there's not extra tripods in the background. But when I'm not shooting, it's just everything that's not on camera and not in frame is just a complete mess all the time. So anyway, I just wanted to give you some perspective that like my trash can is always spilling over, and there's always unused paint cans everywhere, and there's always a bunch of stuff stacked on all the tools that I don't know where to put it, and yeah. But that's just the life of making stuff all the time and shooting video of it. I'm gonna go install this thing and see if I can get it working, and then gotta go back to work on Batman. I just tested out my new horn thing, and I have it all kind of hooked together in here, and I just set it in the car to try it, and I reached around to the volume of the amplifier and I turned it all the way down, what I thought was all the way down, and then I went to test it for the first time, but instead I had turned it all the way up. It works, and it's really loud. So let's try it out here. So it works. That's not even all the way up. That's like maybe 25%, and I don't know how loud that is for you, but when I tried it, it's pretty loud. Which is great, but now I have to like actually install it in the car and test it on the outside of the car, because it's way too loud for the inside of the car. Alright, got a couple of coats of latex on with some silver paint mixed into it, and I'm pretty excited about how this is turning out. So next is weathering. It's pretty interesting, like where I sanded, it left some kind of lines like in a direction, which ends up looking, once it has the latex on, it ends up looking like scratches, which is cool. I mean, I guess they are scratches, but you know, metal scratches. Right in there, there's some interesting texture that I didn't mean to add, but it looks good. I'm also working on the custom horn. Had this first enclosure that I printed a new one last night, and it needs paint as well, because I had the wrong color plastic. Alright, it's a couple days ahead, and I've got the weathering done. Painted, I sponged on some black and wiped it off to get the grime and grit in there, and then I did some dry brushing on the edges to get some like silver stuff, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. I think it looks good. So the next thing, the last thing, is the eyes, and I haven't exactly figured out how to do it, but I went to the craft store and I found these things, and it's a really fine mesh, and so you can still see through it up close. That's right up against the lens, but then like when you double it over, actually if it's doubled over you can still see through it, but it's wide enough that it'll catch light. So we're gonna try that and see. You know, it'll look something like that, and then with some LEDs behind it, it should light up. So I don't know, we'll give that a shot. But it's just funny to me that like this is what's gonna be the eyes for this super tough looking Batman helmet. So Batman is finished, finally, after all this time. And here it is. There we go. Got the eyes in there. It's wet right now, so I can't turn it on, but you'll see that in the main video. The eyes light up, and they worked pretty well. You can kind of see through them. When they're lit up, it's really hard to see through them. But really the big problem was that by adding the light fixtures in there, made it really hard to put on. It is possible. You can put it on, but it's really uncomfortable because of all the stuff is like pressing right here into your brow, and yeah. But it's done, and it took way longer than I thought it would, but I learned a whole lot from it, and so now I have some good ideas going into my next helmet build, which won't be for a while. But anyway, that's probably it for this behind the scenes. I hope you enjoyed kind of seeing the trials and tribulations of making that project. Yeah, see you on the main channel. Bye-bye.